Hello. Anybody ready for pie? Today it's Pie Day on the road to food freedom, and I'm Maggie MD, and I am Foodie MD, ready, and we're ready. The oven is at the right temperature, and those of you who are joining me and ready for pie and some baking, Dr. Maggie in the kitchen, we're ready, and here we go, everybody. Hey everybody, welcome to today on the road to Food Freedom Week for Transform. And this week we've been hanging out and talking all about what the road to food freedom looks like and all the secrets behind food mapping. And today I am excited because we are actually going to be baking in the kitchen, and it's Pie Day. Pie is one of my favorite things, and being in the kitchen is the other one of my favorite things. And sharing my love of food with people that I love is my favorite energetic and spiritual activity, okay? I love to cook, I love to eat, and I love to be working with people that I love when it's cooking and eating. It's a shared experience, and it's connection-based. So a couple things. We're going to be making my joyous pumpkin pie, and on the screen, you're going to see the recipe pop up right there. It's Dr. Maggie's Joyous Pumpkin Pie. And yes, the recipe is going to be available. I want you to type in chat. If you're watching right now, please blow me up in the comments if you want the recipe. Type recipe in chat. We're going to be sharing the link for you to be able to download this recipe, print it out, follow along, because I promise you this is going to be delicious. It's going to be simple, and you're going to learn a ton. So you're not going to want to miss this recipe. So blow me up in chat and type the word recipe. That would be pretty cool. Oh, babe, can you go get me my golden balance from my desk? And then, yes, there's going to be a drawing today as well. So I'm already going to let you guys know that at the end of when we're done getting this pie in the oven, we're going to have a drawing. And that's in celebration of at MYMD Shop, our supplement shop. There is 8 days of holiday savings. We're on day 3 over there. And the doorbuster for our 8 days of holiday savings is actually Golden Balance. So what I'm going to be doing is, I don't know where I put it. Oh, there it is. There it is. There's so much over here. So we're going to be raffling off a Golden Balance at the end of this live, but it's going to be based on your comments. So what I'm going to tell you is for every single comment that you make, you're going to be entered into a drawing. And at the end, we're going to be drawing for a Golden Balance. Don't say you weren't told. Let's get those comments going. And if you want the recipe, oh, Claire, I'm already seeing. Claire loves Jesus has recipe, please. Yes, Claire. Leslie is there. Recipe, please. Okay, recipe link is in the comments section right now. Click the link and you can follow along as we go with this recipe. Now, I have some guests with me in the kitchen today and off the kitchen today. We have number 1, Allie is joining us. Let's bring Allie to the show. Allie, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Drum roll. Here we go. Boom.
Hello, everybody. I am Allie. I am the functional nutritionist here on the Transform team, and I, like Maggie, love to eat. And food, I think, is my love language as well, because I feel like I always have to bake for something. For me, it's baking, but you have to give somebody food. It shows that you care, and so you make food for a celebration. You make food if somebody's not feeling well. You make food when somebody's coming over. You go to somebody else's house. You make food. Like, it's just how you show your appreciation and hi, I like you. Let's eat food together. Really like nutritious and delicious. Like, it has to be both to me.
And what I would love to do is anybody who's watching right now, who's an alumni or currently in the Transform program, you've worked with Allie. If you want to share your experience or just write boom in chat just to give a shout out to Allie, that would be really cool. I would love to see some of that. Joe says in the comments, cooking for people is my favorite. Me too, Joe. All right, everybody. The next person I want to introduce is my husband and my co-creator extraordinaire here is Jonathan.
Hi.
And he's going to be helping me out in the kitchen.
Yes.
Because as everybody in the programs that we work on know, that sometimes they'll see me and Jonathan in the background while we're teaching and talking, while we're teaching, and Jonathan and I are co-cooking in the kitchen all the time. So it wouldn't be the same if I was cooking in the kitchen without my cohort over here. So Jonathan's going to be helping out as I'm talking about the ingredients, going through the recipe with you, and Allie and I are going to be talking tons. We're going to be yakking.
Yes,
Okay.
I will be scurrying here in the background, making things happen.
Well, and we're going to bring on another camera, which is we're going to call that the money camera. The money shot's coming on, so you get to see what's happening in the mixing bowl over here. Isn't that cool? And Allie, just to give you guys little known fact, how many of did you guys know that Allie? What industry did Allie work on for many years that caused her to sit here giving me mic and lighting advice? Does anyone know in chat? Anyone know in chat? Type in chat. Allie, let's solve the mystery. Why don't you share why you're specially equipped to give me guidance on lighting and miking?
Oh, because I'm an Emmy winner and I have a statue.
Really?
Yeah, really. I have a statue. Yeah. I'm not Homer, I'd get it. But yeah, so I worked for oh my gosh, 12 years in soap operas. So I won an Emmy with One Life to Live. I won an Emmy I got my statue with General Hospital.
What?
So yeah. Yep.
Wow. And the only major soap opera you didn't work on was
Days of Our Lives.
Days of Our Lives, really? Not all, but you worked on All My Children as
I
well?
worked on All My Children. When they moved to LA, I worked on All My Children.
Oh my God. Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway, little known fact, everybody.
Yes.
All right. So if you're watching, what I would love to do is we're going to flash the recipe up really quickly. It's Dr. Maggie's Joyous Pumpkin Pie. And make sure you click the link and follow along so that as we go through these ingredients, I'm going to share a lot of information about the exact products I choose and why. And there are links also in the recipe so that you can access those as well. So you're not going to want to miss downloading that recipe. All right, cool. Let's pop that recipe off. First thing first, we're talking about pumpkin pie. And we're talking in terms of food mapping and how important. On Monday, we talked about why elimination diets suck, don't work, and make you sicker. Okay. Yesterday, we talked about why data absolutely matters. Is there any echo going on? I want to make sure.
Nope.
No echo. Yesterday, I talked about why data is really critical because with accurate data, we don't have to avoid. We're actually adding in more and more food accurately. Today, we're actually going to be baking, and I want to take one of our holiday favorites. We are the holiday season, which is pumpkin pie. And I want to demonstrate to you how I love to cook, and we're going to be cooking, but how when we're looking at something like baking, even for the holidays, right, we're cooking for a multitude of people. You may not be just cooking for yourself, but you may be cooking for a party or a number of people where there might be a lot of food allergy sensitivities or digestive issues, right? So that's something like now it's like, I love inviting people over to my house to cook. And, Jonathan and I have our own food sensitivities as well.
Yeah, we do.
So we always ask when we invite people over and say, do you have any food preferences or sensitivities? Just so we know when we're making something with love that we're inclusive.
Correct. We like to make it, like I said, inclusive for anybody coming over to know that it's safe for them, or to even just have things labeled and be able to ask, oh, does this have this? And
Right.
they can avoid it. That way, you don't have that concern and trauma of like, oh, am I going to eat something that trigger an issue and then be suffering for days or weeks?
Yeah, I mean, for me, safety is one of the most important things for me as a concept, energetically, spiritually. And I come from a background where, hello, Jody, good to see you, Ohio. I come from a background where I didn't feel safe in many different ways. And for many of you guys during this holiday season, and because of your health issues, food is not a place of safety. And Allie over here, Allie, you work with a lot of people where food is the enemy or food is traumatic.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, I think people really appreciate if you ask them what sensitivities they might have. I think a lot of people are afraid to speak up because they don't want to be the odd man out or like, oh, I'm going to be a big deal. I'm going to be difficult. And so they will just sit and suffer or just not eat or hide like in eating carrot sticks in the background. And so when you ask them and they feel safe to say, well, actually, yeah, I can't tolerate dairy. Is that okay? Yeah, for sure. We'll have something for you. We'll make something vegan for you. It's totally fine. And it's such a relief. And then I think it opens the door for other people to raise their hand and go, well, I actually have something too. I didn't know that was okay because it's not conventional. And none of these traditional Thanksgiving dishes, they're not food allergen safe for the most part. So it really opens the door for safety and belonging. And so that's nice. That's what the holiday is all about.
Well, let's talk let's talk a holiday favorite, pumpkin pie for the Thanksgiving holidays. And as we're going through using this as an example, I'm going to go through how data really is helpful for that. And your education is really helpful for that. And setting an intention of being inclusive and being a safe kitchen for people is also going to be steps I'm going to be talking about. So first thing first, when it comes to pumpkin pie, listen, if you're a baker and you want to go and make your own pie crust, feel free, right? I am not a professional baker, and I'm going to tell you one of the things that fill my joy bucket about cooking for a lot of people is I want to take the stress out of it, which means the stress out of it for me, which means I want to make it easy. And that's why if I'm going to be making pie, I'm going to buy a frozen pie crust. I'm just going to make it easy for myself. I actually had, excuse me.
Drink some more.
There was for me, speaking about safety, is a lot of you guys know that I have a history dealing with chronic pain. And having Hashimoto's mixed connective tissue disorder, I had severe chronic pain for several years, and I had to have 2 neck surgeries as a result of it. And I remember one year trying to make my own pie crust and rolling it. And when you're working with gluten-free dough, which I am gluten-free, it's really hard. And I remember that it hurt so much, and my hands were also tingling and weak at that time. This was between surgery 1 and surgery 2. I think, and it was for the holidays, it like broke my heart that I couldn't even roll a pie crust. And so that piece was really hard. I remember throwing down that rolling pin and just running out of the house and walking around for 2 hours, just crying and upset, right? And there's no reason for it. There's no reason for it. One of the things I do is I also realize is pie crust is not my forte. How many of you are a pie crust expert or love to bake? Type it in chat. Allie, I don't know how do you make your own pie crust or do you buy it?
I do not.
So I want to give you guys the permission to make it as easy as possible and to tailor and customize the experience to you and what brings you joy. I really want to give you permission. Here is, and if you can get the other one from the freezer,
Of course.
I want to show you some examples of what to look for if you're looking for frozen pie crust. For me, like Leslie just said in chat that she's looking for an anti-inflammatory diet, or some people find that gluten is very inflammatory for them if they have autoimmune disease. So for me, it's a must. I mean, if I'm going to be baking a pie, regardless of who's coming, I'm going to make it gluten-free because I want everybody to be able to eat it. But I want it to taste good. It has to be a pie crust that people are like, I didn't even know it was gluten-free. So this is a particular brand that's local. It's called Kember's. I'm in Washington State, and this is a local Vancouver company. They make a pie crust. And I'm going to show you a brand that I found also. This is a really common brand available at all the most supermarkets, and is Kenny Knick. Kenny Knick.
Can you say that 5 times fast?
Allie, did I say it right?
Kenny Knick. Yeah, Kenny Knick.
And Kira says, I love that you store-bought gluten-free. Hell yes, I store-bought gluten-free. And I don't have to be sitting here rolling a pie crust at all whatsoever, because that doesn't bring me joy. Maybe it does you, and if it does, let me know in chat who I'm talking with, okay? And remember, every comment enters you into a drawing for Golden Balance later on at the end of the call, okay? Now, when I look at the pie crust and I'm looking at the ingredients, it may not be just gluten that you're avoiding. For some people, they might be working with flour like almond flour. They might try to make a crust with almond flour, which I've done in the past. And almond flour is a nut flour, and some people have problems with nuts. So I tend to avoid making crusts out of nut flour. And yes, they're gluten-free, but to be low allergen, I go ahead and look for ingredients where it doesn't utilize nut flours. So frozen, literally. And here's the other thing. There's also price point considerations. This was $4.99 for one shell. This company makes it $4.99, and there's, guess what? 2 shells, right? So there's a big price difference between the companies, and the ingredients are fairly similar. So what I'm giving you permission to do is to look at the stores around you, and don't be like, I have to buy this particular brand. Because different stores may have different brands available. There's another brand, I think it's called Wholly Gluten Free, and I'm going to also put that. If you want a link to some of the brands that we're talking about for the pie crust, I'm going to have our member of our team posted in chat. And if you want the recipe type recipe in chat, you can also download the recipe. The links specifically to some of these pie crusts and ingredients are going to be over there. So, Allie, when you make a pie, do you have a particular brand that you like, or you like the ones we're using?
So I like, if you are okay with almond flour, I really like the brand Capello's. It is an almond flour, and they make amazing pasta and pizza crust too. Or there's a brand called Raised Gluten Free. That's also nut free, dairy free, soy free, all of the free, gluten free that you need. It's brown rice. And so I really like Raised Gluten Free. And that's pretty available in all of the different markets. You don't have to be like in a specialty store.
And that's the piece I really want you guys to really think about. And the links that we're going to provide, I have also links to Amazon. So some people just order from Amazon or they drive to Costco. A lot of the products that I'm utilizing are also available. Some of them are available at Costco as well. So you can order it. You could, be your trip to Costco, right? And I know there's a lot of Canadians who are watching and they have access to Costco as well. So I just want to let you know, widely available. Number 2, let's talk filling for pie. Okay. We're going to talk about organic pumpkin puree. Okay. I know that Thanksgiving favorite in the US for pie filling for pumpkin is Libby, LBBY. I like to use this version called, and from this company, it's called Farmers Market Organic Pumpkin Puree. And I want, really simply, when we're looking at ingredients, pumpkin puree, Allie, I want you to talk about what you look for when you're looking for pumpkin pie filling, and I'll share what I look for.
Well, it's important for me, if I'm going to get anything in a can, what is on the can is super important to me. I try to avoid buying things in cans. Sometimes you do. Pumpkin puree comes in a can. But what I like it to be is a non-BPA, there it is, BPA-free liner. And if it doesn't say that, I would put it back. That's what I would do. I would put it back. But I also like that this brand has 2 other certifiers that are really important to me. It's the non-GMO Project Verified label, that little butterfly and check mark. And that tells me that there is no ingredients that have been genetically modified. And then on the other side, I saw it, the USDA organic label. And there's several different organic certifiers, but that's one of them. And so if you see that, okay, there's going to be nothing in there. And also, that's the best part. So a lot of times when you're buying something like pumpkin puree, do you need other fillers and stuff? Or do you want it to be just organic pumpkin puree? That's what I want.
That's all it is.
That's what I want.
One ingredient.
Because the only other things you need are going to be spices, and that we're going to add that separately.
I love that. So we're going to have Jonathan already. He's going to measure out. If we're following along with the recipe and you're already downloaded the recipe, in the recipe, we have our oven already preset to 350. And truly, like, all the ingredients that we're going to be putting into this pie filling could be done in 5 minutes. We're just sitting here talking more about educating you, and it's really simple. So when we're looking at the pie filling here, it's 1 3/4 cups pumpkin puree, which is around 14 ounces, which is 1 can. And it specifically states not pumpkin pie mix, because I don't want all these other things put into it. I want to be responsible for every ingredient that's going into this pie, and any omissions, right? If somebody has a problem with ginger, for example, which is part of pumpkin spice, I'll just omit that, right? You could. So I like the flexibility of not using a can that says pumpkin pie mix and just straight organic pumpkin puree. As you're looking at the money cam over here, Jonathan is putting in that pumpkin pie puree.
I'm glad my hands look nice.
Number 2, we're going to be looking at 3/4 cup full fat coconut milk. Let's talk coconut milk, everybody. How many people has used coconut milk, loves coconut milk? Type in chat, okay? Because I want to actually tap into Allie and my knowledge and wisdom, because I love coconut milk, and talk about, how do you choose the right coconut milk?
Well, similar. We want to look for those certifiers, all the same things, all the rules apply. And I also like full fat.
Why do we like full fat? I love full fat coconut milk. Don't buy the light. You'll be tempted to buy the light. Don't do it.
Well, I feel like that's an old narrative of like low fat and fat free and all of that stuff. Really, the whole foods are always better. Not only is it going to be creamier and more fat, but you're stripping away all of the good stuff from it. You want the protein, you want the. So I learned long ago in nutrition school that you want to have, rather than fractionated foods, have the whole foods. So whole fat milk is better.
Well, and here's the thing. When we're making pie and a lot of the recipes that I'm making, mouthfeel is really important. And for me, like one of the big pieces of our programs is that we have a balance of fat, protein, fiber. And one of the biggest problems with a lot of diets people get on is the low fat of it. But so for me, it's 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. And when you're talking about pumpkin pie filling here, getting a full fat coconut milk is going to be really critical to the mouthfeel of that pumpkin. Mm-hmm. So same thing, which is for me, my favorite brand of coconut milk is going to be Native Forest. I just ran out, so I had to buy a different can. But I'm going to put the link here for Native Forest in chat. And the reason I like Native Forest is they have a brand. They have several lines of it. And there's a simple one, which is organic. And all it has is coconut milk and no gums in it. So a lot of coconut milk will put guar gum in there as well, which is unnecessary. If you have a good full fat coconut milk, all you need is full fat coconut milk, organic coconut milk. So Native Forest is my favorite. Currently, I have a different brand here just because I ran out. But if you want a link to that coconut milk, we're going to have our team put the Native Forest simple line, and that would be the one I would recommend. And make sure it's full fat, and make sure when you get the can, you shake the heck out of it before you actually pour the, because did we use the whole can or part of the can?
We use some of the can. No.
Right. So if you actually look right here, is that if you look at the can, we didn't use all of it. If you didn't shake it up, a lot of times it's distributed unevenly. You may have more fat on top or bottom, but if you really shake it up, then you're actually going to mix the fat thoroughly before you put it in. So coconut milk. Is there a brand, Allie, is there a brand you love on the coconut milk?
Well, I love Native Forest as well. But if I had run out or they didn't have it in the store, I also there's a brand called Let's Do Organic, which is also organic, and it's just coconut milk. So that's another good one. And what is the other one? Oh, there's something called New Barn, is a new brand that I've come to really like, and it's just pure ingredients and regenerative. They're regenerative farmers, so I like to support that brand whenever possible.
Yeah, Teresa's coming in saying that she does a sweet potato casserole that's gluten-free, and I just wanted to let you guys know too, if you guys do any of that sweet potato casserole and you use marshmallows on top, you can take a look at the ingredients on marshmallows as well. Did you know that you can buy marshmallows that some of them are organic and some of them some of them have gelatin in there if you're vegan. Not all marshmallows are vegan. So if you're serving people that are vegan, you might want to just get marshmallows that are vegan so that it doesn't contain gelatin. So
Sandy.
Say again? Sandy's.
Sandy's is the brand.
I love Sandy's.
Dandies.
We have Dandies.
Yeah. Do you want to show them the one you just got?
I will show some Dandies we just got.
got some Dandies last night. Because I love putting marshmallows not only on the sweet potato casserole, but I like putting it into hot chocolate. I make hot cocoa, and I always put the marshmallows on top. Dandies are these are vegan. They even come flavored, and this is at our regular local market. You didn't have to. It's very expensive on Amazon. Don't get this on Amazon. Just get it from your. I would say
in the baking section.
In the baking section of most of the natural markets would have it. Whole Foods for sure would have something like this.
Yeah, Whole Foods had it. Our local market has a little more natural area that had that in it, and then they have the regular stuff in their other area.
Yeah.
But they had this, which is a peppermint flavor for me because somebody else was not appealing to them.
He's like, want this? I'm like, it's peppermint. He's like, want it? I said, it's peppermint. And the next thing I know, it's in the cart. I would go, you got that?
Yeah. I like peppermint.
Who likes peppermint? Type it in chat.
Especially in a hot chocolate.
In a hot chocolate. It is nice in a hot chocolate.
See?
Okay.
Maybe I'll convert you.
All right.
I actually have a holiday fat whoopie pie that I do with good fat whoopie pie that uses peppermint. So maybe we'll do that on another
who wants that recipe?
episode.
All right, everybody. Remember, every comment enters you to a drawing at the end of this. And we're going to be drawing for Golden Balance, celebrating 8 days of holiday savings over at MYMD Shop. And this is the doorbuster right now over at MYMD Shop for the 8 days. So there's a link we'll be putting in chat if you want to head over to MYMD Shop to check out some of the supplements that are that the holiday bonus is happening today.
I would like to point out how many people in chat are saying they love peppermint.
Oh, thanks, Teresa. Thanks.
I appreciate the support.
Tyler! Oh my gosh! Good to see you, Tyler. Pumpkin pie is definitely one of my favorites. Knowing you, Tyler, you probably love pumpkin pancakes too and waffles. He's our pancake man. That used to be addicted to pancakes and waffles. Not anymore, I'm sure. All right, so we're gonna keep going. So we put in some brown sugar in there. We put in how much brown sugar? Half cup brown sugar already. We're gonna move to cornstarch, okay? Quarter cup cornstarch in there. In this recipe, because it is a vegan recipe, it doesn't have egg, okay? And so one of the things that are gonna give you some of the binding and some of the mouthfeel is gonna be, in this particular recipe, is gonna be cornstarch. And really importantly, corn is one of the most GMO products and pesticide use. So really important for me is to buy cornstarch that's non-GMO'd. I am going to provide in the link, and I believe it's also in the recipe. There are cornstarches that are organic and non-GMO'd. So what to look for. And it doesn't cost that much more. I mean, so if you have a choice, right? And if, of course, if you have someone with a corn allergy, you may want to use a different recipe, right? So these are some of those considerations. So he's going to go ahead and put in the quarter. What is it?
The quarter cup.
Quarter cup of the cornstarch. Next, quarter cup maple syrup. Maple syrup is one of my favorite sweeteners. Okay, and this particular one is organic. It is from Costco. Okay. And it is 100% grade A amber rich taste Kirkland brand maple syrup. I don't know if Allie, you have any feedback or comments on what kind of maple syrup or what you look for. You look for maple syrup.
I look for the exact same thing that you just described. The brand that I've been buying is Coombs, Coombs. It's in a glass container. But yeah, I look for the exact same thing. You want it to be grade A, organic.
Perfect. So we're going to put in a quarter cup of the maple syrup. There's also a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Interestingly, in the food mapping testing that we do, about 1% of individuals come back sensitive to vanilla, but it's real vanilla. Okay. So really interesting. I just wanted to give a second to say that there's a difference between many products on the market, and I don't have a problem with vanilla, so we're going to be using real vanilla. I'm going to advocate for you guys to use real vanilla extract like this one, okay? However, if you are an individual that is sensitive to vanilla, you're going to want to use imitation vanilla. Flavor is actually not vanilla. Interestingly, most of the products that says vanilla flavor are not real vanilla. So it's interesting, depending on if you actually have an allergy or it's an allergy or sensitivity to real vanilla, there are other substitutes that you can use. Like that's the only time I'm going to say use something imitation, right? I don't know if Allie has a different, or you could omit the vanilla, or if Allie has a suggestion for that. But go ahead, Allie.
No, it's a tricky one to substitute for. So it's better to just omit it.
Yeah.
And then there's other things like there's a sweetener called lucuma. It's not a vanilla substitute, but it has that vanilla-y kind of taste. And so if you need a little sweetening, I would put that in, a teaspoon of lucuma.
That's a good question. She said, does vanilla extract typically have alcohol in it? Yes, it does. Okay. And that's part of the extraction process, is that to get the flavor out of the vanilla bean, there is alcohol in it. However, this alcohol is completely evaporated when you cook it, just FYI. So that's vanilla extract. You could use vanilla bean. So if you are someone who says, I don't want any of the alcohol in an extract, you could use real vanilla bean, scrape it, and put it right in there. Easy peasy lemon easy, right? Now, next, we're going to talk about,
Pumpkin pie spice.
So we're going to talk about pumpkin pie spice, okay? And I made my own. Okay, I made my own, but you can buy pumpkin pie spice. Pumpkin pie spice is really made with ginger, cinnamon, nutmeg,
Cloves, I believe.
and cloves. That's right. So literally, I took I have a herb drawer that I'm very proud of.
Would you like me to show the herb drawer?
With the money shot,
With
but
the
then
money
you're gonna have to move the money cam. Do you guys? I'm very proud of the organized
Let's
spice
They can-
drawer
they
that I
can-
have.
see what the money shot looks like.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
So
covet that spice drawer.
I love this. So I buy whole cloves, and then I just I have a spice grinder, which is like a little portable coffee binder thing, and I grounded it. I just grounded these cloves this morning. So I have cloves, I have cinnamon, ginger powder, which is right here, right? So you can make your own pumpkin pie spice with ginger, cinnamon, cloves. What am I missing there? Oh, and nutmeg. So I can't. I'm just going to tell you now. Let's talk cinnamon for a second, right? And actually, before we talk cinnamon, the ground ginger. Ginger is really anti-inflammatory, anti-nausea. Okay, so I think somebody was talking in here. Leslie was talking about anti-inflammatory diet. Ginger is great for that. But I would love for Allie to talk a second about like why I love cinnamon, and I put cinnamon on every single thing.
Yeah. Well, it's really, really good for blood sugar balancing, which is why Maggie puts it on every single thing. And last night on our nutrition call for students in the Transform program, we were talking about heart health, and cinnamon is really, really helpful for your heart and lowering cholesterol, like LDL cholesterol and just overall cholesterol. So cinnamon is it's a wonder drug, but it's a spice and it makes everything nice.
And you can I bought this one at Trader Joe's. This is an organic ground cinnamon. Okay. So you can and I think I know that Costco has a big thing of cinnamon. I don't think it's organic, so that's probably why I went with this particular brand from Trader Joe's. So the other thing is nutmeg. I freaking love nutmeg. I'm just gonna tell you guys, I think it's a miracle. And I think it's really important not to buy ground nutmeg, but to grind it yourself. And if you guys, oh my God, smell that thing. If you guys saw on Saturday, Sunday, I posted a video with a sexy soundtrack behind it of just Jonathan grating nutmeg on a grater.
Like, the super sexy.
It was like, anyway, so I'm going to show you what the inside, this is what a real nutmeg looks like. This is what a real nutmeg looks like. And this is what the inside of a nutmeg look like. And the smell is just so good, right? And I just want over at the money cam over here, I'm going to have Jonathan demonstrate
the fresh grating.
How to do a fresh grating. Unfortunately, we don't have musical interlude to go behind it.
We do not.
But it is part of pumpkin spice. So when I created the pumpkin spice mix, I put in the nutmeg in it. But I love extra nutmeg. So this is like putting that in. And what I like about nutmeg is because the aroma is so awesome, before you even, let's say you're serving a warm cup of hot cocoa or something, rub it, doing it right on top, right before you serve it, and that steam hitting it, and go ahead.
I was going to say, well, you can also use these spices and just put them in a pan and do like a light boiling of them. And it's aromatherapy. And it just, rather than buying those scented candles that are probably toxic, you can just use the spices and have it on your stove. And people come into your home and you're like, oh, it smells like fall, or it smells like winter, and it's nice and cozy and yummy and aromatherapy.
Yeah. And then next, we're going to talk final thing, half a teaspoon of salt. And really simple ingredient, right? And I actually think we've been afraid of salt. Everybody's like scared of salt, and salt is actually really critical. But the other thing that is what we do to salt, which is that in this country, we at many brands of salt are iodized, putting a lot of iodine in there. And a lot of people with autoimmune diseases can actually have problems getting that level of iodine in all the time. The other thing is they'll put anti-caking agents and other thing in the salt. So for me, I am a kosher salt fan, number one. I am a diamond salt, crystal salt fan. We don't have a link to it, but you can get it off Amazon. I love kosher salt. And what I like about it, there's no iodine And the only ingredient in this box is salt. Okay. So that's for me is my favorite salt. We're going to put in, that's for cooking. People know that when I actually at the table, my favorite salt is Malden salt. That's called finishing salt. Finishing salt, you don't cook with it. You're just finishing and using your hands to rub it together and putting it on food. And that's flake sea salt. And it has such, I would say, has other electrolytes in it because it's from the sea. Mm-hmm. And it also has texture to it as well, a little bit of crunch to it. So I like finishing salt at the table with Malden salt.
There we go.
Perfect. So what we're going to do here is we got everything in here. And if Allie and I weren't going back and forth with this and we weren't making eyes at each other, it would have been done.
It would have been done in 5 minutes. Yes. Normally this is much quicker. I'm more efficient, I promise.
And then so what we're going to do is we're going to put it into a mixer. So what I'm going to tell you is you could mix it with your hand, but I really love putting it into my KitchenAid mixer. And the reason is like the whole mechanical mixing of it introduces air to it. So I really, instead of hand mixing it, I love my KitchenAid. I've had this thing for 10 years and I like to really mix it in. And so we're going to go ahead and give that a good mix. And then before we actually pour it into this pie crust. Any questions, feedback? What about salt flakes? Same thing, right? Molten salt is salt flakes, Teresa. So if you actually look, do I have Moldens? Yeah.
You should. Yes.
This is finishing salt. I don't cook with this. I have it at the table, and they come in little flakes. And what I do with a finishing salt table is grab it, and I just crush it between my fingers and put on the salt. It just tastes so much better. It just tastes so much better. Everything's better with some finishing salt, I'm saying, even your hot cocoa. And then everything's better with a little nutmeg on it. Just saying.
I put salt on watermelon. We're not in that season anymore, but it brings out the flavor of watermelon and actually enhances the electrolyte and the post-workout recovery, like the potassium in watermelon. So anyway, a little aside.
Electrolytes, a lot of people don't realize with POTS, dysautonomia, long haul, the dizziness that comes with it. People with a lot of digestive problems don't realize that they're not digesting, breaking down, and absorbing their food. And as a result, many people are actually low on their electrolytes. So that's why I spend a moment talking about importance of electrolytes like salt, which salt is sodium, but what Allie was talking about was potassium. Potassium salt is also potassium is another electrolyte that's frequently missing. Third, another one that's frequently not being absorbed is magnesium. Mm-hmm. And so, which is why for me, like when you do something like a sea salt, natural sea salt, it doesn't just have sodium. It actually has trace other minerals in there as well. So I like using sea salt as a finishing salt.
Agreed. It is really good, Tyler. You should give it a go.
All right. So in the back, we're mixing that. I'm going to go ahead here on the money shot cam is to put the pie crust right here. And as soon as that over there is finished mixing, we're going to pour it in there, and then it's ready to go in the oven. Now, as that's happening, hi, Tyler. How are you? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Salt and watermelon. You haven't been from the South, Tyler, have you? Salt actually brings out sweetness in watermelon. I'm not saying I don't do it, but I remember my dad do it all the time.
Really good.
Now, here's the thing. I'm sharing with you guys my love of baking, right? And we were talking about is how important data is. And yesterday we talked about how when you work with us on food mapping, and by the way, this whole week, we are having a holiday bonus in my food mapping masterclass, and it's $300 off. And that ends on Cyber Monday. So if you are if you were ever interested in signing up to work with us on food mapping to get the data, the digestion, and all the mentoring and coaching with Allie and I and our medical team, this would be the time to join. And I'm going to have our team put into chat a link if you want to check out more details about my food mapping masterclass. And then the other thing is, when I'm talking about the principles of baking pumpkin pie here, I want to talk about how easy it actually is to bake for the holidays or any time. And so remember, we have a frozen pie crust here. If you ever wanted to, is it just pumpkin pie that I'm teaching you today? No, think about this. If you pre-bake this crust, can you not make a banana pudding pie, right? Really easy. And I want to share this brand with you guys as another pie filling This is called Mom's Place. And we can share the link in chat for the vanilla pudding. And on the back, they actually have a recipe for making it banana cream pudding. And this is vegan. This is gluten-free. And you can actually just make some vanilla pudding, pour it into a pre-baked crust, and you're good to go. And if you don't like this kind of crust and you want to do a graham cracker crust, you can buy gluten-free graham cracker crust or make a gluten-free graham cracker crust if you're interested in that as well. So this is called Mom's Place vanilla pudding, another type of pie filling that you could do. Some people like, Teresa was talking about sweet potato casserole. A lot of people make sweet potato pie. Personally, I actually prefer sweet potato pie to pumpkin pie. But let's talk about the wonders of squash as a pie filling. Pumpkin is a squash. Squash actually is an amazing superfood. And Allie, I mean, I don't know if you share, I feel like we share our love of squash together. Do you want to talk a bit about squashes?
Yeah, well, my gosh, there's so many. So besides the fact that it's really good for your digestion, pumpkin in particular. So whenever you have an upset tummy, it's also good for your pets, right? If your dog has like nausea or not feeling so good, it's safe for your dogs and cats. I've given it to both, and really just settles your tummy. But it also has lots of the orange, like the orange food and the yellow food, like that beta carotene, getting that precursor to vitamin A, which is so helpful for us. So yeah, oh my gosh, so many good benefits bringing in all of the minerals and nutrients from having it regularly in your diet. Really high in fiber, so that's really helpful for the vitamin A and the fiber. It's also low in calories, so it's something that gives you high fiber, low calories. That's going to help with blood sugar balancing also. Yeah. But then going back to the colors, like it's high antioxidants, like that yellow and the orange, reducing oxidative stress, that anti-inflammatory that you're looking for. Squash is really good for that.
Well, and the other piece is it's not just good for us, it's good for our animals. And Joe and Kira is talking about how my fur babies love pumpkin. Taking pumpkin puree and mixing it into their food, dogs and their tummies really love. It's so it coats their gut, actually is helpful. You can mix it into their food, and even like cat food, if you mix a little bit in, it's helpful because they get hairballs and stuck in their gut and all that. Actually helps the smooth transit of that. I want to show you also a technique here, something when I put the pie in the oven, I don't just put it straight in the oven like without something underneath. And the reason is, as the pie cooks, it can spill, it can overflow, it can spill, right? The other thing too is I would rather use a baking sheet than tinfoil. As much as you can, I would say it's better to use a baking sheet if you can. Underneath, it's great for underneath for easy cleanup, right? And it's paper, it's wax paper. So I love parchment paper. So I like unbleached parchment paper. I buy a whole bunch of unbleached parchment paper in a variety of different sizes. So like this was a brand that I've used right here, and this one fits a half sheet, and there's some that are thicker. This one is 45 GSM. I think it's one of the thicker ones, and I love using these parchment paper for all my baking needs. The only thing is that you can't broil with it, just so you know. Because
you will start a fire. Please don't broil with it.
Please don't broil with it. So this pie is going in the oven. I'm going to have Jonathan do the honors, and we're going to have it go in the oven right now. And it's very liquidy inside. So one of the things about pumpkin pie is when you do that is that it is liquidy. So how long is it going to be in the oven?
60 minutes.
60 minutes. Okay. This does take longer to bake than some of the other recipes because it is a vegan recipe. So it doesn't contain egg, which typically will set it. So I noticed that when in preparing this recipe and utilizing this recipe over the years is that when it doesn't have an egg in it and it's a vegan version of it, it just is going to take longer to cook. And make sure once you're done cooking with it, I would actually let it cool, put it in the refrigerator overnight. That ensures that it actually sets perfectly.
Yes, it is a thinner pie. The refrigeration just allows it to kind of set more and get a little bit thicker, so you get a little bit more of that mouthfeel you're looking for.
Yeah, and Catherine is talking about here. Mine never seems to fully cook in the middle, which is why for me, like I like to make sure that I cook, like if it's going to be vegan and it doesn't have egg, 60 minutes, and letting it cool in the fridge overnight. The next day that's a lot better. Just FYI, rather than trying to serve it immediately. The other thing is, how do you top your pies? Let's talk. What do we top our pies with? Okay. This is my favorite part of pie. I love pie. I cannot lie. And the reason I love pie is also because I love putting something cold on top of pie. Like I always warm up. My favorite dessert as a kid growing up was apple pie a la mode. Because I love the contrast of like this warm apple pie. And the savory crust that has a little bit of salt in it, and then you put the ice cream on top, right? So something cold, something sweet on top is really cool. But how do you do that when you have some food sensitivities? Like for Jonathan, he doesn't do any dairy.
Correct.
So in solidarity, I don't do any dairy with him. That makes life really easy.
Yeah, makes it safer for us to just purchase stuff and share it in the house. It's not like, oh, she's got some ice cream for her that she can put on her plate and I have to avoid it. We can just share whatever. The same reason like I do gluten-free. And yeah.
So
bring out the cocoa whip.
Yeah, I love this. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you is that, when you're talking about, do you want to bring out the almond one as well? Yeah.
Did we get it?
So,
I don't think we got it.
we didn't get it.
I don't think we got it.
Okay. So this is one of my latest finds. Now, listen, depending on what you decide to put on top, if you're talking about kind of a whip topping like this, it's gonna not be one or two ingredients. There's gonna be other stuff in it. But I will tell you, this is the brand So Delicious. It's widely available everywhere. If you can't tolerate dairy and you want like a whipped topping on it, that is delicious. There's a reason this is empty, and I bought it like 2 days ago.
It was not 3 days ago, but it wasn't that long ago. Maybe a week.
There's a reason. I'm like, it is phenomenal. So that's one option that you have, right? If you can do dairy, you can certainly do some heavy whipping cream and put it on top. There's also on the over the counter. Do you want to talk about the almond and the coconut like sweet ones?
Yes. I mean, so there's the readily available Ready Whip, the canned whipped cream. They now make a almond based one, and I believe they may make like a coconut based one.
They do. Yep.
Yeah, and I've tried them both, and I prefer the almond because the coconut has a little bit more of a coconut flavor. Whereas like the cocoa whip doesn't have a strong coconut flavor. It just kind of tastes like, Cool Whip.
Cool Whip.
Yeah,
Cool Whip.
We
Cool
don't.
Whip.
No.
Cool Whip.
No. So
if you guys have never seen the Seth MacFarlane skit where he talks about Cool Whip, you need to look this up on YouTube. Cool Whip. Cool Whip. Cool Whip.
Yes. And we will go down a half-hour trail of talking about Cool Whip.
Whip.
Joe gets it.
Somebody gets it.
But yeah, Ready Whip makes coconut and almond, and they're very tasty. We put them on like hot chocolate sometimes or on top of pies. We prefer the cocoa whip for a pumpkin pie though. Well, I like the thicker kind of texture it has.
Well, and here's the other thing. Like, if you guys ever want me to do a live where I'm just talking about how I make my own hot cocoa, I did a bunch of lives where I talked about how I make my own golden balance, golden milk, and how I zhuzh it all up. But think about a topping on these hot drinks at night. So you can do whipped cream if you want to, but I do the cocoa whip, or sometimes I'll take coconut cream. I'll just take straight coconut cream from the can and like pour it right on top. Oh, that's good as well. So, but back to nutmeg and cinnamon is when I make like this drink, when I make a golden balance, when I make the hot cacao drink, I will put our Pro Collagen WB in there to add the protein in there, right? I use like full coconut cream in there to make it super creamy to add the fat in there. And then I will put some cinnamon on it, and I will grate some nutmeg
So the nutmeg, she loves to put the nutmeg on top. So really bringing out the spices. Looks like Maggie's frozen. There, she's back.
There we go.
Yeah, it always freezes on when I'm making the ugliest faces. I want to make sure it's never like when I'm like having a glamour shot moment or something. It's always like
No, I intentionally make that happen.
Well, everybody, I just wanted to share with you guys like my love of cooking and using the baking of pumpkin pie and how fun of an experience it could be as an educational tool for you guys, and also to share some of my favorite brands and what I'm looking for when I'm cooking. Now, couple of things. There were a lot of comments, and every comment was entered into a drawing for Golden Balance. So I want the team right now behind the scenes to let me know from the drawing, based on the number of comments that was entered, who is the winner of Golden Balance today. So if my team in the background can do that, as soon as we have a winner, I'm going to let you guys know. That'd be really awesome. Okay. And then the other thing is, I want to remind everybody is this is a whole week that we've been live every day at noon. And today is me cooking in the kitchen. If you loved cooking live, put cooking live in chat so I know. The other thing is, if there's anybody that, if you had a love of baking or cooking and you feel like that's been taken from you, it's no longer a safe place for you, something that you can do, then you know what? I mean, I hope this video has inspired you to be able to think about how can I gain more certainty around food? Right? How do I get the data? How do I use the data? And how do I channel that to help me choose things, have fun again in the kitchen, and also be able to share food and cooking with your family, right? Especially during the time of the holidays right now. So I wanted to share a link to the holiday bonus we're doing with my food mapping masterclass. Just a reminder, before Monday, it's $300 off if you want to join my food mapping masterclass, and there's a link to do so in chat. And then let me know when we have a winner. Okay. And then, okay, winner, chicken dinner, Tyler Walsh. You just won a Golden Balance. Thank you, Tyler. I haven't seen, by the way, I would say Tyler's poster child, one of the first clients we actually worked with in the program almost, is it 6 or 7 years ago now, Tyler, who had really, and he has shared this on social media as well, so I'm not telling anything that's private, but Tyler has really, he had severe Crohn's, I think it was Sjogren's. Tyler, you can share some of the details in chat, but I know it's been 6-7 years and I still remember this, right? But he was Pancake Man. And it was so cool. I remember the first call we had with Tyler, he was laying on the couch, like literally felt like he was going to be dying from his Crohn's. And by week 3, 4, he was sitting here working out on camera. Everybody was loving that. 7 years, Tyler said. And he is the poster child of Crohn's recovery. And I am super proud of having alumni like Tyler that year after year, live after live, show up and support what it is that we continue to do. So, and Tyler, I think, has a Facebook page called Autoimmune Typhoon. So if you want to look up, or if Tyler wants to put the link to the page for Autoimmune Typhoon, you can see more, follow his journey more. But Tyler, thank you. All right, everybody. So Tyler, you're the winner chicken dinner of the drawing for Golden Balance. And I'm just going to let you guys know, tomorrow I'm going to be doing, I know tomorrow is it Wednesday or Thursday?
Tomorrow is Thursday.
Tomorrow's Thursday. It's actually Thanksgiving Day. Yes. I'm going to be jumping in because I am actually preparing one of my favorite holiday, easiest dish to cook ahead for Thanksgiving or to bring to someone's house. So I'm making my my holiday hormone balancing kick-ass slaw that is going to be amazing. I haven't done a live making that one in about 8 years. So maybe that predated you, Tyler, who is 7 years in the program.
Well, and we definitely didn't do that together. So it'll be fun to do that together.
We're going to do that together. So it's going to be Jonathan and me back in the kitchen. If you want Jonathan to be my sous chef, put Jonathan in chat just so he gets encouragement. And then, Allie, any final thoughts before we head out?
No, this is so fun. Congratulations, Tyler. He predates me, and every single live that you do, I know Tyler from being on these lives. So, and it's just, I like how you make it so easy, and even dessert, even something dessert, we think of being fatty, fat, where everybody's like, oh, I'm gaining weight and it's so bad for my heart over the holidays. No, it doesn't have to be that way. That's not how we do here. So everything is health supportive and also makes your mouth happy without making your body hurt. So I like it a lot.
And the money shot cam is heading over towards the oven just to show you guys the pie in the oven right now. And that is going to be baking for an hour. And in this next hour or the rest of the day, please blow me up in chat with your comments. And I am going to make a short video taking when the pie is ready of it coming out of the oven. And so to show you guys what it's going to look like. And then maybe tomorrow while I'm making my slaw, maybe we'll have a tasting, but that would mean we have to cut into it before Thanksgiving. So maybe not.
We'll see.
Maybe we'll do the tasting at the Thanksgiving table for you guys. I think everybody, that is a wrap. Happy holidays. And I hope you guys enjoy this road to food freedom. And Allie, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being my cohort here and being co-teaching me this session with me.
So fun. Anytime. I love being with you guys. Yeah. Happy
Thanksgiving,
everybody.
That's a wrap. See you guys tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.